So can confirm anyone, is it my screen visible to you? Yeah, great. So as like a traditional program, we have to create the traditional form. So that is the head and body as usual. Yeah. So anyway, so first of all, I'll give you a brief intro about the forms. So basically, forms means, as you know already, contact form, login form, registration form. So wherever you able to enter the data in the application, web application, so that is technically called as forms. Forms will help you to take the or read the input from the end user or customer, and will help you to submit the respective data to the server. Maybe it may be used for validation or for storing or for retrieval, whatever the things. Generally, if I want to take some input from the end user or customer, the only option we have in HTML is forms. So these forms will help you to read the data whatever you entered, and will send entire data to the server, and as per your request data, server will process it and will send back the data to the client, I mean that customer. So this is how the forms will help us to read the data. And now in the body we have like the common syntax to create the form as usual. So form and close the form as like other ones. And under the forms, whatever the contents, like your text box or radio button or checkbox or drop down, whatever the components you want to define as part of the program, so that everything we are writing as part of the form only. Okay, but before that, form has basically two types of elements. One is action, another one is method. Okay, so one is action, another one is method. So by default, if you not define method, by default it will take the get as a method. So if you want, you can change to method as a get or post basically. So you can define get or post any one that. So basically, so get or post. So basically, like get method is general used method and will send the data along with your URL. But whereas the post method is more secure, comparatively get will send the data internally without appending to the URL. So I will show you the difference also at the time of execution, so you may better understand about it. But if you're not given any method, by default it will take the get. Okay, so but just think, what do you all note it down, like post is always the better method comparatively get. Okay, and the next attribute we have is action. So this attribute will help you to send the request to the server. Means when you submit this form, to which server or to which page it has to go will inform by the action. So like example, hi.php I'm writing. So like that, if it is PHP file we'll write. If it is Java file we are writing. If it is Python file. So whatever the server file we are using in the application, so that server file we should indicate in the action. So when you click on the submit button, by default it will submit to the respect to hi.php. So likewise, a form has two major attributes, method and action. Along with that, we have another one, NC type, like encrypted type, but that I will tell you at the time of file upload concept. But as of now, these two are enough. Okay, so any doubts as of now? First of all, so if you want to write a form in any application, you have to start writing by the form with the two attributes, that is method and action. So any doubts as of now, please ping me, otherwise I will continue for the next point. Yeah, great. So some of the examples of the forms, if you observe this, this is also one kind of form here. And here if you observe that, for example, I'm telling some of the example here. So here if you see in internship, we have one submission form. So this is also called a form, and where we call test box and drop downs we have. And also in contact also we have one form. So this is also technically called as form only, the left side what you are able to see. And if you see Facebook, okay, So in the Facebook also you can able to see the sign up and login. So that also this is also login form for the form only. And when you click on new account, you will get the registration form. Yeah, this is also form. So these are all technically called as forms only. So based on the requirement, you can create the fields what we required as part of that particular form. It looks like as for the CSS, okay. But ultimately these are all comes under the forms concept only. Like for all these, the form tag will be mandatory, we should write, okay. And now we have different types of form elements, so that we will see one by one so that you can easily understand, okay. So now I'm writing form.html, okay. Yeah, so we have different types of components which commonly used in the HTML that I'm pointing here by in the commenting, okay. So as we know, comments can be interpreted like this. And now we have text box. So text box are different types we have, like text, password, and we have date, time, email, number, and color, URL. So these are all text under comes under the text box. The second one is we have text area. So text area nothing but multi-line text box, I can say that. So come for example comments, address, something like that. Okay. And the next one we have checkbox. And the next one we have radio button. And the next one we have drop down. So drop down means select city or select language, something such all things will be come under the drop down. And after that we have file like browse file, upload for the uploading we are using. And then we have button, and then we have in button types also we have different. Plain button, we have reset button, submit button, image button, like that we have many button styles also we have in the what you can say that. Did anyone ask any doubt? I think someone is mentioned. Yeah, I think no doubt. Yeah, fine. Yeah, so in the button also we have different types. And also like we have some of the attributes like read only or some which commonly used, we will see one by one, okay. So these are the majorly used components in the what we can say that HTML forms, okay. Like one more thing I forgot to tell you, label. We have label also to display the labels in the text box. And also there is a hidden text box also, we have an option for hidden text box. So these are like which are commonly used, but see still if we exploring detail we'll may come across other things. Yeah, first we will see one by one so you may understand the things how it looks like and what is the use of that, okay. So first one I'm showing you the output of the text box, okay. So input type equal to text box, so that is indicating text. And as usual attributes, if you want whatever like name, ID, you can give your own things. It's not mandatory things, but you can give it. And also input can be self closable except drop down and what we call drop down text area. Yeah, these two only you need to write start tag and end tag. But remaining all components what we have in the forms, you can self close them directly, okay. So anyway, come back to the point one by one. So first we'll see the output of the text box, how it looks like, okay. So I'm just opening the form. So see that. So this is the output, how it looks like the text box, okay. So now you can able to type the content over there and you can see the content whatever we have, okay. So now, but with respect to this, so when I'm flushing, it is not selecting automatically, like I mean to say you need to take the pointer towards the text box and you need to click it, right. But if you want to highlight the text box by default, when you open that, we have an attribute called autofocus, okay. So autofocus will help you to take the controller automatically to the text box. Autofocus equal to, you can write true. So now you see when I'm refreshing the page, so you can directly highlight the page, you can type directly. So see that sorry, Autofocus, autofocus, sorry, autofocus spelling wrong. Autofocus, okay. Yeah, now you see it's get highlighted. You can type directly. So you need not to take the pointer towards it. It will get highlighted by default by the browser only. So that is the advantage of the autofocus attribute. Okay. And now there is a attribute called placeholder. Okay. So placeholder will give you the default hint. I can say the hint will come. So generally, please enter username. That kind of stuff will come in the placeholder. Like you see that hint will come here. The background will come and you can type that, it will gone automatically. Okay, so that is the advantage of the placeholder. So placeholder will display as like your hint for the respective text box. Okay, so that is the use of the placeholder. And now I'm taking the another one here. If you take the example for another one, and to make it simple, I'm just making in the single line. Okay, done. Yeah, fine. And now I'm writing the another text box. So to differentiate the different attributes, so input type equal to text, and here I'm giving an attribute called value. So here I'm writing value. So what is the difference between value and placeholder? Means both will come under the text box, but the difference between placeholder and value is placeholder is just like watermark. So that can you need not to what do you call delete, or you cannot read that also. It's just for notification. That's all. Whatever the data you are typing, it will take as input, but whatever the value given as part of value, that will also consider a value. See that value is taken. Now you type anything after the value is coming. So that means if you want to remove that, you can remove that value. So like that, the work value will be taken. That means I can say that if you use the placeholder, it is acting as a hint. But if you use the value, it is taking as a default value for the text box. Means without your entry, the system only will enter something in the text box by using value attribute. That is the what the meaning of the value attribute. Okay. And now similarly, there is a attribute called read only. So read only means you cannot edit the data. So whatever the value we have in the text box, you can read, but you can't modify. See that whatever the data we have is not clickable, and I'm even trying to editing, so it's not editing this particular text box. So read only will help you to make the text box only non-editable. Means you can read, you can see the data, but you cannot modify the data what we have in the text box. So that is the help of the read only attribute. So that is the help of the read only attribute. Okay, so I hope you understand. So any doubts as of now? And break will help you to go to the new line always. So whatever we are typing, that will go to the new line into the content. So any doubt as of now, if you ask, I will tell that, otherwise I will go to the next point. Any doubt as of now, please tell me, ask me. Great. Okay, so I will go for next point. So here the next point is we have password. So only the difference between the text and password is the text, when you define, it will visible the content what you are typing, but when you are using the password, so the content whatever you are typing, it will display in the dots. So that is the only difference, but the look and feel will be both are similar to each other. Okay, the break I used right after the second input text box, I use the break. So that's why you are getting the next text box in the new line. See that if you observe that here, it is coming to the new line, and if you want to give some more space, you can give the one more break. So that if you give the double break, so you will feel the difference of the space. Okay, and now you can type something here in the password. See that the data is not visible to you, it is hiding by default. Okay, and if you want to make like in some websites, you can able to see some eye icon here, like view the password or see the password. So that if you want to implement that, we can do by JavaScript, not by HTML itself, because as I mentioned earlier, only HTML only used to display the data. It's not for doing any action over that. So now if you want to perform any actions over the HTML content, I mean to say HTML test boxes or HTML, what we can say that buttons or anything, we should use JavaScript events. So that is the way how we will use the HTML events on, sorry, JavaScript events on the HTML to do dynamic actions. But as of now, it is only for hiding the data as like other password fields. Okay. And now the next field we have date. So generally, if you observe recent days, when you click on say, from date or to date or date of birth, you are able to see the calendar to select the date from the respective text box. So to get such kind of calendar, simply you can write date. That's all. So when you are given the date as a type, so it will give you a calendar to select the particular text box, like you see that. So this particular test, it is also text box, but it's converted as a calendar. Now if you click on, it will show the all the calendars as complete dates and the years, everything can do that. So simply you can apply the today also, whatever the date you want, you can select from the respective calendar. No need to manually enter by the customer. He can easily select the date from the calendar itself. And again same thing, if you want to restrict some dates like future dates or back dates, if you want to restrict, again we need to implement the JavaScript on the date. So by default it will take all the dates whatever we have in the calendar. Okay. And similarly we have time also. So time will give you option to choose the time only. So like I will show you the outcome how it looks like. So these are all something which will simplify the customer to enter the data basically. So that's the what the advantage of these all fields. But these are all you can achieve by using even only text box also. So in the text box you can enter time, date, everything. But it even simplified. The see customer no need of manual entry. You can click on that. See what is the time you can select. You can select the minutes or AM, PM. You select and the date will be selected like that. So like sometimes we may enter right from date, from time to date to time, like that. If you want, we have a option like time selection. Yes, you can use this field with instead of text you can use the directly time field. Okay. And similarly we have an option like, so I'm using breaks to simplify the content. And we have time email also. We have like when you are entered like some emails, if you want to take your email or mobile number, we can go for number. Or if you want to take the colors, we can use the color. And if you want to enter the URLs like website URLs, we can go for URL. So see, there's all different examples what we have in the input types only, all are text box only, but with different signatures will come different variations. I mean to say, instead of directly a traditional text box, as per your requirement, you can use the respective attribute. It will more give the user accessibility. So the next one I'm giving email, email, okay. And the next one I'm giving number. So in number only it allows numbers only. And the next one it will give color picker. It will open, and then after it will have the only URL we can enter. So such kind of all things will be done here. So see here it is for email and it is for numbers. See, we can't enter the text, only we can enter the numbers, and even you can increment decrement the numbers also. And okay, this is color picker, as like regular traditional color pickers you can choose any color. And this is the URL. Okay. So likewise all are looks like, see if you observe that all are text box only, but as per the attribute if you change, the outcome of or the value reading will be changed for the respective text boxes, but all are text box only, we can say that. So as of now, if any doubt, these are all different examples for text boxes. So now we can go for text area. So any doubt, please ask me. Otherwise, I will go for text area. Any doubt as of now? Good. Perfect.
No, sir.
Yeah, great then. So now I'm going to cover the text area. So see here. So text area. So as I mentioned, as like input, we can take that, but the name itself is text area. And text area, as I mentioned, it is multi-row text box only. So you can mention the how many rows you require. So that many rows it will allow. So let's take I'm giving 10 rows, and the columns also similarly you can write. So let's take columns I'm giving 30, and you can close the text area. As I mentioned already, text area cannot be self closed, so you need to separately write the end tag, I can say that. Okay, yeah. So now you see, so text area can be displayed as like your address field. See that. So like this, you can enter the 10 rows. After that, it will go for new line like this. Okay. So this is we call multi-line text box. I can say that. So if you are using the text area, it looks like this one. Okay. So how much size you require, as like that you can define the rows and columns. So rows columns will define your height and width of the respective text box. Okay. So this is all about text box, and the next one we have checkbox and radio button. It is already well known things. Whenever you are able to see the checkboxes, so that will be looks like checkbox or radio buttons. See that. So I'm writing the checkbox and radio button. So these are, so here I'm writing checkbox, input type equal to checkbox. Similarly, input type equal to checkbox, and here it is input type radio. But only difference is, remember, so radio button, out of many we can select only one radio button, but checkbox you can select many, as many you require. Like example, if you see here two checkbox are there, so I can select both. But when you go for radio button, either we can select any one. See that. So multiple options you can go for checkbox, any one option you can go for radio button, and the text whatever we are getting after the checkbox or after the radio button, that which will be displayed as a label basically. Okay, like example, see label, as I mentioned, right, one of the tag that is for this purpose only. So label, so let's take, I'm giving Java and check the label. So okay, and similarly here also label take Python, and close the label. So now you can able to see the content also will display along with the checkbox like this. See that. Similarly for radio button also same approach. So whenever you want to display some data after the text box or before the text box, we can use the labels. Okay, and even text box also, like for example, enter some date of birth, I can say that. So this is also you can write the label only. Okay, label, label, select DOB, date of birth. Okay, and close the label. Okay, so you can use like that. Okay, so see that. So here if you see, these are all under, whenever you want to display some content over the web page along with the form element, we can use labels also. Okay, so as of now, any doubt? So these are all we called in test form elements only. No? As per your requirement, what are the combinations we want to use for the respective login form or registration form, we can use them. Remaining we cannot use. Okay, like that we will continue the in generally for form creations. So if any doubts, please ping me. Otherwise, I will go for how to create the drop down. Yeah, great. So drop down is nothing but like you may have the option like select city or select country, something like that you are cutting, right? So for that we are using drop down. So for the drop down creation, we will use select. So select is used to create the drop downs in the forms. So I'm giving a simple one, city. So where the select can be also not self close, you have to separately close the select. And under the select, what are the options you should display? So that all we should write as an option. So option, let's take Hyderabad and close the option. And after that, OPTI one option. Let's take Warangal and close the option. So similarly, how many options you want, that many you can put it over there, and you can able to see as a part of drop down. See that here the drop down is coming, and when you click on, it is showing Warangal and Hyderabad. So whichever you want to select, you can select from the respective drop down. Okay, so here I just want to tell you one more thing. When you are giving an attribute called multiple here, okay, so then automatically the same drop down will be converted as a list box. So that means you can able to select all two things like check boxes, two or one you can select. So that means if you want to select only one out of the many, you should not write this multiple attribute. Otherwise, we should write the multiple attribute along with the selector. So please remember, if you want to select multiple options, go for multiple. If you want to select only one option among the others, then go for without multiple the selector. Okay, so this is used to the select will be used to create the drop down. Okay, and as similar to that, if you want to give the option to browse the file, so file upload option, so we can go for input type equal to file, and the name is equal to, let's take resume I'm taking. So now we can browse the file by using that. So if you scroll down, see that choose file is coming, no file chosen. When you click on that, by default it will go for the system. If I'm clicking here, see automatically the file will be selected over here. Okay, so likewise you can write logic for choose file. Okay, so this is about the choose file, and that is a file option. Okay, so input type file is nothing but or we can say that upload file. Similarly, we have a buttons like regular buttons or input type button. So there is a value we should display that, because see, for example, only input type button if I'm giving, it will come the button, but it doesn't give the any text on it. See, empty button is coming. So now if you want to give the some button over the day, some text, like example click. Okay, so now the click will be displayed over the button what we created just now, you see. Okay, click button. So this is the button what we created. Like this you can create the different buttons also. So as I mentioned just before, just in the description, so we have, what are the different types as I mentioned already. So first one button, plain button. Second one reset button. Third one submit button. And fourth one image button. So like this you can write, but image button instead of value we should give the src. src we have to provide the name. So let's take crs logo.png. Okay, so like that we can define the components. So now you see we are getting different set of buttons here. If you observe that, so see, oh, this is the click button. So when I'm typing here, when you click on the reset button, it will clear the content. See that whatever the content we have here in this text boxes all are, so that checkbox or whatever, when you reset here it will clear everything. Okay, when you click on the submit button, it will submit to the next page, like whatever the file you mentioned in the form called action, so that where it will go. So reset means will simply we can say that it's a clear button. Okay, and submit button means it will go like generally login or submit something, register something like that. Okay, and I think this it's not SRS, I think it is ARS logo, so that's why your image is not coming over there. And now I think yeah, so still the image is not coming, still it's working as a submit button. And see login clear and click regular click. Okay, and the image button also it's not coming. So what is the image available here, I can say CRS, not ARS, CRS. Okay, yeah, now you see the CRS logo will be displayed as a outcome here. So the I mean that the image is acting as a button now. See now when you click on that, so I told you, did you remember that anchor tag also will make that but image as a clickable. Similarly this image button also you can make as a clickable. See now I'm clicking, it moved to the next page. Okay, so likewise we can use the small images also as a buttons. So like this also. So these are the different types of buttons which are available in the HTML. Okay, and as I mentioned already, label we covered already. So label is LGBL, and hidden text box means the text box which will be, even though written in the program, it cannot be viewable. Like example, here I'm writing one text box, input type equal to text. Okay, so now you see initially the after the image you are able to see one text box. You see, yeah, here one text box is coming, right? So the same text box, if I'm writing input text equal to, instead of hidden, if I'm writing, yes, text box will be there, but you cannot see in the UI part. See that the text box here it is there actually, but you are not able to viewing that because it is hidden, hiddenly it is there. So that's why we call it as a hidden text box. Okay, So this is what are the different components or the what we can say that elements, form elements which were available in the HTML to write HTML forms or to create the HTML forms. Like example, as I mentioned, login form, registration form. But as I mentioned, the look and feel will be decided by CSS. It's not by HTML. HTML will create a traditional form. That's all. So when you want to give some style to that, when you want to give some effects to that, we should use the CSS. It's not because of HTML. So HTML will provide traditional forms creation only. Okay. So as of now, if any doubts, please ask me. So this is like all the components what generally we used in the HTML forms. So any doubt, please ask me. What is the use of the hidden text box, sir? Yeah, see now sometimes hidden text box will carry the data in the background. Like example, sometimes if you remember, like while you're submitting the forms, there will be a step of forms we have. Like for example, if you fill some data in the first form, the form data will carry it to the second level, like personal data, educational data, professional data. Like that, we may enter form by form in the step 1 2 3 like that. So in that places, the data whatever you entered in the first form will carry to the second form hiddenly by using that only. So generally, simpler I can say that if you want to carry some data along with your form, but you don't want to show to the end user, so in such cases we can use the hidden field, so that end user cannot see externally, but internally along with form this kind of data will go to the server. Like example, browser which they using, or the location what they are using by the customer, or latitude longitude what they are using. So the latitude longitude what they are using, such kind of fields, if I want to track track the customer, so then the such kind of details we